mean, I didn't know what to expect because you don't know when it's going to be ready to go. I wish that I could say it's going to be ready on this day, but I can't go as hard as I want to go out on the field until it feels like my other side and I feel like everything's good. I can't do that. And if I do that, I'm doing myself a disservice as well as my teammates because I don't know if I go out there and it doesn't quite feel like the other side, if I'm going to bury myself up for another 2 months. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that when I go back out there to play, it's to stay out there. It's not to go out there and test it and be like, well, is he going to be okay and whatnot. I just don't want that hanging over me. I don't like it in my head, just the thought of it could get worse. I just don't like that. I just want to make sure that it's great before I do it.
We spoke yesterday. I mean, I get the feeling that, not that you were completely expecting it, but you understand where they're coming from.
I totally understand. I totally understand because these things you can't mess with, and I understand that. I know that right now it doesn't feel like my other side, and that to me is a problem. Not that it hurts me or it bothers me like that, it just doesn't feel like my other side, and that's a problem. And if I can't have it like my other side, I'm not going to go out there and go as hard as I go if I know that my body can't withhold that. So if I can't do that, then I need to make sure that everything's square one before I do that.
So is it a pain or you just
it's not so much a pain. It just doesn't feel like my other side. It just feels like something's different. So if something's different, then we got to address that, and we got to get it better. I mean, I got to just kind of ease on the brakes a little bit here and let it get better. I mean, it's tough to. I do everything that I possibly can do with treatment. I can only do so much treatment and only ride the bike so many times and stretch. You know, I can only do so much. It's just going to get better when it wants to, and that is going to get me out of there.
I vaguely understand the disparity is is there a big difference in the feeling?
No, it's not so much the difference. It's just the feel of when I do things out on the field. It just doesn't feel like it's right on that side. So I gotta do the initiative, take the initiative, and just make sure that it is before I go back out there and go game speed because it's about game speed. Sure, I can go out there and throw with the trainer and go hit off the tee and do all that, but when I simulate that and I run it through my mind, if I go into a game and I have to ramp it up to the next speed, nobody can simulate game speed. Nobody can. And nothing we have done has simulated game speed, but for the most part, it just does not feel like it should at 100%. And I feel like having to rush through so many at-bats and so many games in the next couple days here to do that's kind of not it, because now we're just putting a whole amount of pressure on that situation, and that's not what it needs. If anything, it just needs time. And unfortunately, time's not with us right now. We don't have another 2 weeks to the season. I wish we did, because then we'd probably be all right. But you know, I just got to keep doing what I'm doing and just give it time to do this thing.
Based on the way it's progressed so far, do you have any sense of how much time this might take?
You can't give a timetable. It's so hard. Everyone asks me every day, how's it feel? I mean, it feels fine, to be quite honest with you, but it just does not feel like the other side, and that's a problem, and that raises a red flag to myself. You know, you can't go out there and expect to be who you are if everything doesn't click. Sure, yeah, you can go out there and suck it up for a few games, but what happens when I have to go back to the manager and say, yeah, it's sore a little bit again, then I got to go through this whole process again. So I'd rather get, you know, 2 birds with 1 stone here, stay here, kind of just get this thing back to where it needs to be, and then hopefully get back to work with my guys and get it going.
I guess that's one of the frustrating things. I mean,